Not every strong woman wants to be strong, but see, some of us have no choice. Some of us had no choice. When you're an independent woman, you have more of that, masculine energy than you do feminine. And it's hard to balance out the two. I was thinking of, a woman that comes from the suburbs versus a woman who comes from the streets, a woman who comes from a rougher area. How does it differ? And it does. Environment and survival shapes our energy expression, especially for women. Okay, let me explain. A woman who lives in the suburbs might have more space to stay in her softness, to flow, and to keep that nurturing side, because her environment feels safer, more resourced, more predictable. You don't have to worry about walking outside and dealing with some of the things versus a woman who grew up in the ghetto, in a rougher area. A woman growing up in the rougher areas has to activate that masculine energy, like she has to be on guard, be very, very strategic, like watching everybody's moves, very assertive, standing up for herself, never letting her guard down, and even coming off like even more aggressive than what she wants to at times. Because she's not just surviving the streets, she's surviving her home, the school, carrying that trauma, needing to adapt in an environment that doesn't allow her to be soft. Even the home she grew up in doesn't allow her to be soft. She'd get a whooping for being soft. It all comes with risks. You better cry your ass to sleep, because if your family sees you crying, you're soft. If your friends see you crying, they might try to get over on you. We're not having pillow talks. We're not having, PJ parties. So that masculine energy has become her shield, protector, her guard. It's the same woman. Yes, we're all women, but it's different environments of force, different parts of her to lead. And I really feel like this is something that's like rarely ever talked about. It's not really brought up. I heard how this came to me. It was like I heard somebody talking about independent women being more masculine than feminine. But yes, I really believe it depends on the environment that the woman is coming from. How much healing it takes for that woman to actually be able to balance that feminine and masculine energy. Because it's like once you let the sword down, you're worried that you might get jabbed. You know what I mean? So a woman in a safer, more balanced environment, dealing with trauma, more resourced environment, might come across more soft, come across more ladylike. Be able to adapt to that femininity. But it's all because she had that safer foundation to begin with. And I'm not bashing that person for having a safe foundation to begin with. What I'm saying is that we need to be recognizing the women who are growing up in that unsafe foundation, the women who had to battle from birth. Okay, not just the traumas that they've had to deal with, but having to battle not just the traumas, but the environments. That woman in the suburbs didn't have to armor up every day versus the woman who grew up in the rougher neighborhoods. It wasn't a war zone when you stepped outside your door. It wasn't a war zone in your household. Emotionally, mentally, physically. Like I said, it's like trying to figure out how to put down that sword without worrying that you're going to get cut.